Hi, I'm John Townsend, and this is going to be a fun Q&A, and I've got some great announcements too. But the main question today is on rebellious clothing in the 18th century. Thanks for joining us today with questions and answers. Here's our first question. This one comes in on the sugar wafers, the little light and fluffy cookie episode we did. This one says the original recipe says beat for an hour. How did they know back then how long an hour was, or was it just by a guesstimate? Well, generally what they're talking about is getting these eggs up to a particular consistency. And once you've done this recipe several times and you know what that consistency is, you understand immediately when you're reading these recipes or receipts what this kind of means. So when you see something like beat these for an hour, you already have in your head, oh, they mean to bring the eggs into this particular consistency with this kind of air in them. That's what's going on with this recipe. Here's an interesting question. It's in the fire starting episode, and we do have some episodes that are not about cooking at all, and this one's about starting fire with flint and steel. The question, though, is, I see you sell everything but guns. Why is that? You need guns for reenacting. So it turns out, even though it's a good question, that not everybody needs to have a gun. In fact, there are so many things you can do in historical reenacting or in living history that don't connect with guns, that I don't want to discourage anybody who thinks that they need to spend a lot of money on a gun if they want to do this kind of thing. And, you know, there are many vendors out there who specialize in guns, and we actually leave that kind of specialty work with the people who really know what they're doing. We enjoy the parts of things that we do with the clothing and all kinds of camping equipment. So we specialize in what we do. They specialize in what they do. We've actually had a couple of interviews with people who actually make the guns, not just sell guns. I'll put a link, I'll have a couple links down in the description section of this video so that you can check those videos out. Here's the main question. This one is just a channel comment, or a channel question. He says, I have a clothing question. I assume that fashion in the late 18th century was something like it is today, with older and middle-aged and younger generations dressing with slightly different fashions. Along those lines, did the youth of the 18th century do anything with their dress to rebel against their parents? Well, it's an astute observation about the idea that generationally we wear different clothing. And it's very, very true that that same kind of thing was happening in the 18th century. You have different clothing for different, say, cultural groups. You also have different clothing for different generational groups. So if you grew up wearing one kind of clothing, you would tend to stay in that clothing, especially if you were, say, not very, very rich or able to afford the newest fashions anyway. But there are definitely some things going on in fashion that are, let's say, beyond the normal, and usually it is the young rebelling with their clothing. And you have some things going on in the middle of the 18th century called the kind of the macaroni people, generally young gentlemen who they toured the continent, which included Italy, and they connected with the Italian food and the macaroni, but they also came back with odd fashions, and they were rebelling in that sort of way, I guess, and showing off with these odd, strange fashions. This kind of turns into, say, dandyism in the, say, 1780s, maybe. So you get this extra fashion, extra new things, and then you get in the 1790s, you get this incredible, well, they're called the Incredibles, or in French, whatever the Incredibles say in French. But they have this extraordinary fashion that they push the edges of the envelope of what traditional fashion was to the outer edges. And they are sort of made fun of on one hand, but they're definitely rebelling in their clothing and kind of showing off and trying to be very, very new. With the cultural clashes that are happening right there in the 1790s, there's a fashion clash that's happening at the same time, rebellion that's happening in more than one way. So yes, definitely you've got some interesting things happening with clothing, generally probably at a later age than what we would say people rebelling. You know, kids today might rebel in their clothing when they're 12 or 15 or whatever, or 18. in this time period, they're probably rebelling a little bit later when they have a little bit more independence, when they're 20, 25, 30. But very, very interesting. So I've got 3 quick announcements for you. Number 1, Kalamazoo was amazing. So many people came out because of the Q&A, and I asked people to come out. Many people came out. We shook hands, we talked, we had great conversations. It was wonderful. It was so encouraging. I really want to thank everyone who came out and connected with us at Kalamazoo. If you were there and you didn't connect with us, I am so sorry we didn't get together, but we will be there again, and I hope to meet you there in the future. We also have a great lineup of videos coming up. Next Monday is our first video that we shot down at Locust Grove in Louisville, Kentucky. Really, a really cool episode, so make sure to check out this cooking episode coming up this Monday. It's going to be a good one. And, talking about Kalamazoo and people meeting us face to face. If you are in the Washington, D.C. area, Northern Virginia area, and you're interested in meeting us face to face, I think we're hoping there's going to be a good opportunity for that next week, probably Wednesday evening. I don't have the exact time and the exact place yet, but Wednesday evening, probably somewhere close to Mount Vernon. So if you are in the area and you want to connect with us, make sure to watch the channel. We'll put out a quick announcement when we know the exact time and the exact place. So make sure to check for that, probably Tuesday or Wednesday of next week. If I can get that notice in here sooner, I will. So thank you so much for your incredible support in what we do and your encouraging, your wonderful comments and questions. Thank you for everything you do for us, and thanks for watching.
Hi, I'm Rachel, and I'm from Grand Rapids, and we're at the Living History Show, and we just met Kevin and John, and we are having a wonderful time.
I'm Trevor. I'm also from Grand Rapids, and yeah, this is pretty cool.
This is our first time to one of these shows, and the reason we're here is because of Townsend and Son. We watch the YouTube channel all the time, and we greatly appreciate their output. It's amazing the material that they have.
I just wanted to say thank you to everyone at James Townsend and Son. You guys are the reason I have the courage, I guess, to join the reenacting community, costume and cosplay outside of my own home, and join an awesome community.
Hi, I'm Molly and David and Miles Henderson, and we're from Rockford, Michigan.
And we're here at the Kalamazoo Living History Expo with the great guys from James Townsend and Son. And it's just an incredible experience, and everyone's super friendly, and we got to meet our heroes here making YouTube videos.